Happy Flosstube Friday, friends. My name is Kari. This is Tiger Lily Designs. Welcome to Flosstube number 93. Yay! Welcome. We're almost third the way through February. Can you believe it? The year is flying by. Well, January is kind of crazy town, but here we are. It's February. I've got a table full of goodness. So let's just dive in like I love to do. I've got my table of contents we're going to run through so you know what to expect on today's fabulous Flosstube Friday episode. I do have two Stitchy whips, because I am mixing in a lot of knitting, because if you don't know, I'm running a Beanie-A-Long here in February. So we're also going to talk about the Beanie-A-Long. It is so much fun. So we've got the whips, Stitchy whips. I've got some knitting whips, which includes my sweater, as well as the Beanie-A-Long little chit-chatty stuff. I do have two fully finishes. So some finishes that have been in the need to be finished Lego box. If you know, you know. But now they're ready to go, and I've been waiting to display them because I'm going to show them to you, and I got them before Valentine's Day, so yay me. So we've got two finishes to show you. We've got the giveaway from the chart from last week. I finished a quilt top this week just because I'm being intentional with my choices and trying to have a little work-life fun balance. So I want to show you that as well. We're going to talk about some haul I have, Patreon, and the Beanie-A-Long. So that's what we've got. Let's dive into the whips. Working on. So there are two whips. So between knitting and stitching, these two Stitchy whips took all my time. So I can't tell you 2-3 days on this, but it's coming. Woo! This is in one of my beautiful gifts from Shelly for my birthday. This is the Tiger Lily B-Day Sal. Now, hopefully, here's a hashtag right here. If you are joining along, yay! I know there was a little bit of delay with the charts. Hopefully, they're starting to come more into stock. I think Christine has some. If not, send her an email on Etsy. This is Hollis Hands Creates. They've been working diligently to try to get all the charts to everybody who wants to do it. And I know Vikki's been on top of the silks if you're using the called for silks. But without further ado, this is my sister's sampler in Richardson. So if you are stitching along and you are on Instagram, I would love for you to use the hashtag and also tag me. As we know, sometimes the hashtags aren't super friendly. Sometimes I can't see everything. I'll see it this way and the other way. But if you tag me, Tiger Lily, in your post, I will for sure see it. And I'm loving seeing all of my friends who are stitching it. A, because it's inspiring and it keeps me motivated to keep stitching. B, everybody's starting in different spots. Like, where do you start? Do you normal? I'm usually a center starter, for sure, always. Well, usually. Center, but that would have been right here, and that's the good stuff. But I decided to challenge myself. Eat my vegetables first. I don't know. I wanted to save the good stuff till later. My friend Handmadebysarahw, she's doing that with her Jane Hopkins. It made me think of that. She's doing the big rows. So she's doing all the leaves. There's like 7 zillion stitches of leaves, right, on Jane Hopkins. And she saved those 2 beautiful roses. I didn't save the roses. I went right to the roses on that one. But I am trying to channel Sarah a little bit, and so I've been working on. Let's do the stitch, shall we? I did bring my board. It was ironed. I did a post this week. I showed you guys the progress. I've worked on it since that post, so that's exciting. Whip Wednesday. I always show a whip on my Instagram on Wednesday. If I can do nothing else on Instagram, at least I can show you a whip on Whip Wednesday. That's about as far as I got. I'm trying to do better. Ooh, are you excited? I'm excited. Okay, so I am stitching this on. It's my sister's sampler and Richardson. This is 36 count baby sheep by XOXO Designs. Yes. And I am stitching with the called for Vikki Clayton silks. So I have them right there in my little handy dandy box. And I've done lots and lots of the alphabet. Now you'll look at that and be like, Kari, you're only doing the odd numbers. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to have a little poll. I'm going to ask for your opinion, and I think I know what I'm going to do, so hopefully you agree with me, but if not, we'll talk about it. And then I went ahead and I went down the right side. So let's compare and contrast, shall we? It's coming right along. I mean, we're not even We're not even like 2 weeks into this beauty. Well, maybe we are, but no, we're not. That would be the Valentine's Day. Because you started that my birthday is January 31st, so we just started this. But, when you get dedicated time, it's just addicting. It's super fun. The silks are yummy, yummy. This is 1 strand over 2 on 36 count. And it's just gorgeous. Now, I will as I always like to, I'm honest with you. I own it. Team Fudge. I'm making shirts, by the way, in case you're wondering. Stay tuned. Because it's so much fun. I'm a Team Fudge, for sure. So, not Frog, in case you're like, what are you talking about? I do love candy fudge, too. Anyway, but Team Fudge, not Frog. I messed up. Last night, I was working on this on one night, and then last night, I was like, I'm getting this urn done. Well, I got the, and that's as far as I wanted to get. But right there where there's a blue space, there's supposed to be another 3 stitches of red. So I missed a row. So, and I had already stitched all this other stuff. So I wasn't, Team Fudge, Team Fudge. You never know, except I'm going to own it and tell you. So I'm going to come down. So because of that error, I didn't want that one row off to mess up all the other stuff. So I did go ahead and adjust this motif down one row. So now I'm back to good. No one will be the wiser unless you tell them, and I'm not gonna. So let's talk about why I have only done the odd numbers. Well, when you look at the chart, you can, and really, even the chart picture is kind of hard to see. When you look at the chart picture, the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, those stick out really great. The even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, are charted in white, or white adjacent. You can't really see the white. Can you tell? Ooh, there is a row of white stitching right there under the top alphabet. I did it. I mean, and I can see it if I know to look for it. But if I don't know to look for it, it kind of definitely goes right into the fabric. I don't know what this is, but hopefully we're going to cover it up. Oh, I don't know what that is. I thought it was a thread. I promise I wasn't playing with the pencil. I don't know. So because of that, I don't want to do my even numbers in white. I don't want them to ghost. I want them to stand out. I want to stitch them. I want to see them. It just makes more sense to me. Ghosting the line is one thing. Ghosting numbers and only seeing half of the numerical band is kind of not what I want to do. So I am going to take creative liberty and change the colors because I can. And so I had to decide whether I wanted to change to green, blue, or pink. Now, if you're new here, you may be like, oh, let's think about it. Which one would look better? If you're not new here, you already know what I've chosen. Right? You do. Let's be honest. You know I'm totally going to stitch the numbers in the pink. Yeah. We were going to talk about it. I was going to take a poll, but really, come on now. Come on. Red and pink are gorgeous together. The numbers are going to be beautiful. There's green. Anyway, I thought it through. It wasn't just like an automatic situation, but really it kind of was. So that's what I'm going to do. I did want to make one suggestion in that you pay attention, because again, we talked about this last week. I was stitching kind of by looking at the picture instead of looking at the chart, and I was doing that again. It's a little tricky with the greens. Just pay close attention. There are 3 greens in the called for floss. There's a light green, a medium light green, and then a dark evergreeny green. Well, when I look at the picture, the cover photo, I'm not quite sure that the charting symbols match with what I think is dark green and what is light green, or what is the medium green based on the cover photo. It's a leaf. Like, make it whatever green you want. And that's what I'm going to do. So, but I just wanted you to be aware, if you were stitching, to take a moment and look at the differences between what you think is dark green based on the cover photo, because I look at the cover photo, I'm like, oh, that's the dark green, that's the medium green, and there's the light green. Well, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the charting, the symbols don't match that. And that's okay. Like I said, it's green, it's leaves, like, it's awesome. I just wanted you to be aware. So, kind of if you start in the middle and you want it to look like this, anywho, that's it. So I am super excited. We talked about before, I am going to change the words up. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do, so I'm going to skip that for right now. But I am probably going to go ahead and wiggle my way over to the vase. maybe I'll wiggle my way over and do this one first and really save it for the finale. What do you think? I don't know. I'm going to tell you that this stitch is probably going to be like record speed. Can you bless your needle by finishing a sampler in February? I mean, I started January 31st, so it's really not a February start and finish, but maybe it's just like a 30-day rule. I think we're going to go with it. I'm excited. I'm not saying I'm going to finish it in February, but if I don't put her away, which right now I don't want to put her away, she might get some more work done, and it could be kind of quick, and I'm kind of not mad about it. I'm going to be honest. Next up in the whip category is something that's a kind of big-ish, big girlish, because that's why it's in this big old patchwork, because not only does it have the chart and the fabric and stuff, it's got a spool holder. This is one of my spool holders because this has been charted. I did a color conversion to RFL floss, so I needed a way. I mean, it's all about being pretty, right? And of course, I had to put vintage stitching on it. So that's that. What is this, you shall ask? This is my pull. Now remember, if you have watched my whip parade, you know that I had a whole category called less than 5 days, right? And in January, I finished 2 less than 5 days because it really was less than 5 days. I was thinking it was like, I don't know, 2, 3, whatever, less than 5 days. So I was like, okay, I want 1 finished per month. So let's go ahead and pull out a less than 5 day project. I went to the bucket. I have it, it's a basket. I have it totally separate from my library, right? My library is right here. Those are all tagged, ready to go because they're going to be around a while. The less than 5 days didn't even get tags. Like, don't even bother. So that's why there's not a tag on there. That's why there's not a project library card on this bag. This is the Fox and Rabbit Margaret Felicia Dyson. Now, I started her back in August of 2022. So she's been around a while. Why haven't I finished her? I don't know. But I've pulled her out. She got 2 nights of stitching. So my less than 5 days might be a little optimistic. I'm just going to tell you, based on 2 nights of stitching, there's still a little bit more to go. But here we are. Now, compared to the whip parade. So what I have done since the whip parade is lots more of the border. It's almost done. It was so close. And my eyes and my needles and if I could have just pulled through, all I need is just the red. I colored complete on the border. And so I just have to do the red on like 3 of these flowers. And that's it. All the other, actually, there's 2. You always see something, don't you? Look, so those 2 don't have green on the inside. No idea why, but we're going to go ahead and wrap that up too. And then the border will be complete. And then like we talked about during the whip parade or last week, I'm not quite sure what we talked about, but I did change it. And you can tell I brought the border down. I taken her name out and doing all the things. So I have to decide what is going to go in this little section right here. I am not going to do another one of those dragon fruit. I'm calling it a dragon fruit flower, or a geode. It's kind of like a geode, but I'm not doing that one because I want to do some of the other motifs and there's no other symmetry in this piece at all. So I have no problem taking creative liberty and moving some of gorgeous Margaret Felicia Dyson's motifs, just moving them around and putting them in as I want. So I do definitely want to stitch this rose right here. So that's going to go in there. And then there's a couple more roses. There's a crown. So I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to throw in this little section. Some stuff. Oh, and I didn't get this. Probably all the odds and ends that I didn't put somewhere else, I'm just going to throw over there in the corner. It'll just be like a hodgepodge of all the smalls in this. It's going to be, this is funky floral for sure. So I am going to go ahead and keep focusing on this one this month. I won't say this week because this is being stitched on. This is 20 count LFA linens. And the color is Popover. Again, I'm doing an RFL conversion. I have a blog post on it if you want to go ahead and grab my conversion using the RFL floss. It's 6-stranded. It's just like conceptually like DMC, but 6 strands. I'm using 1 strand because it's 20 count. And that's my story. So hopefully this month she'll get done. 2 days in. I still have 3 more days if I'm going to meet my less than 5 days goal. So hopefully so. Hopefully so. Shall we? Let's see. Okay, so that was my stitching for the week. 2 days and then 2 days, but I did some knitting. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's stay on the stitching, shall we? So let me show you one of my finishes. I did have this weekend. I was kind of in the studio zigging and zagging, trying to do some fun time. So, you know, here in my studio, I'm standing here in front of the pretty wall. The rest of it is functionally working walls, but this is the pretty wall. And so I came here over the weekend and wanted to do some fun. So I quilt. I did a quilt top that I had worked on. I shared it with you guys in stories. I like to share theirs. And then I also went ahead and I was like, you know what? It's Valentine's Day next week. I didn't do any Valentine's. Well, I finished one last week. I didn't finish that one. I didn't have a finish for it. I didn't have how I envisioned it. I went to the bucket. We talked about this last week. I went to my buckets, my tubs of finishing accoutrement that I have bought at that I've thrifted before. And so I tried to find something that would fit for the 2023 collector's heart, which I wanted to finish on a square piece, but I didn't have anything in stash. And so I wasn't going to compromise. I'll just like, it'll be fine. I'll just wait. But what I did have ready to go, and I've had it for a hot minute, is this fantastic piece. This is Plum Street Samplers. I don't remember what it's called. This was before my tracker cards, so I can't tell you much. I can tell you that I stitched it on a shade. This is on a dyed by Patrick Ada. So it started as a 14 count, kind of when he dies, it kind of shrunk to a 16 count. Fantastic. Love it. It's like a baby pink. Oh no, this was my Skittle pink. Might've been my Skittle pink. Or literally you put Skittles in a mason jar, okay, with some seltzer water, like not flavored, like, right, club soda, bubbly water, and it kind of melts off the color of red Skittles. Melts off so then you have red pink dye. Put your Ada in it. That's exactly what this was. This was Skittle fabric. Yep. Skittle pink. Skittles pink. My son Noah loved Skittles when he was little, so I had buckets of them. It's one of those things. It was always in his stocking. Anywho, so I forget what this chart is called. Alicia, Fancy Full of Flamingo, is stitching it. She's almost done. So go to her Flosstube and she'll tell you what it's called. My chart's gone, long gone. I finished this one a long time ago. It's been in the need to be finished, find a thing area for a while. Now, I always take sometimes when I go to Hobby Lobby, if I think ahead and I plan ahead, I take some of my finishes thinking, well, maybe today's the day. Today's the day. Well, one day in the fall, my mom and I were at Hobby Lobby and I had this piece with me in my needs to be finished. I brought like 2 or 3 pieces that maybe today's the day. And I saw this and I'm like, oh, so this is Hobby Lobby. I left the tag. I think that's the tag. It was just in the fall. It was in their wall decor area. I don't know, $16, $17, and then a half price, of course. And it was just, I thought it was super sweet and simple. And then I just went ahead and I backed it. Here, I'll show you. Like, this is just, you know, cotton fabric from somewhere, you know, I just pulled, it's like a black with gray. I just wanted to pull the black, kind of make it pop like a black frame, black matte, right? So some of the changes I did make that I can tell you is because I stitched this on Ada. I recharted. You will notice if you look at my words and you go and you look at, let's say, Alicia's words, she did the over one as charted. I did not. Paulette, I don't even remember. It was something where she like smushed a word and thing it did. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I undid that. And I made all the letters big, Ada friendly, nothing over 1 letters. And then I added the 4 hearts instead of however it was before. It's the same words, but I just mushed them around a little bit. Now, there was no avoiding, and we're not going to look closely. I'm just going to leave it right here. There was no avoiding the over 1 in their faces. And I'm going to tell you, do not look closely. I'm okay with it. Nobody's going to come up to my stitch ends and examine their faces, but I don't like it. And I'm okay with it. It's going to hang in my studio, or like right when you walk into my studio, I have this James Taylor stitch piece. It was a hello from Liz Matthews, how sweet it is to be loved by you stitch. That's like right when you walk in my studio. So I might put this there. I don't know. It's going in here somewhere, but I used all the called for, pretty sure. Comes with dog hair. Pretty sure I used all the called for colors. That was before I was super brave and changing all the colors. So anyway, this is my finish, and now I can hang it on the wall, and it's got a nice little hanger, and it's so fun. So yay. My second finish, because I went to the bucket looking for a square piece for the 2023 collector's heart, right? Square, whatever. I did not find one for that because I stitched that on a 14 or 16 count picture this plus. So it's much bigger than the charted called for anywhoosie. I found this square in my bucket and I was like, hold on a minute. I think this freebie that I did. Now, if I can find this freebie, I will link it down below. This was one of those newsletter freebies. And then it was just, you pick your own colors. So brown basket, variegated floss, 2 colors. This is on a 14 count dyed by Patrick. He used magnolia leaves as the natural dye to get this pretty color. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I measured because I went looking for the other one and I was like, nope, that'll fit right there. So it's perfect. And I love a good shelf sitter frame. Perfect. Let me go ahead and run through the giveaway while we stay in stitching. The giveaway from last week, this was the light upon the lawn. This was the bird I finished from last week. So fun. So I wanted to pass the stash on this chart. And so I did the random comment picker. And the winner is right here. And the name is Princess Jewel 5216. So if that is you, please reach out via email down below. Let me know your mailing address and I will pop this in the mail to you. So yay, congratulations. So let's switch gears to some knitting, shall we? Oh my gosh. Okay, so what do I have? I have my sweater bag with me. I have my new Beanie-A-Long bag with me. And I have my existing beanie bag. Woo. So let me show you all the things that I have been working on. Now, one thing I haven't shown you in a while because, you know, it's really just going around and around and around. Now, I'm working on a sweater. And so I have made notable progress. Let's look, shall we? So this is where I was last time I showed it to you. So that's pretty good. It's been a hot minute. I'm using Sastari, which is, I went to a sheep farm. Patrick and I went to a sheep farm in the fall. And so this is their local, like, this is their sheep. This is their yarn. So fantastic. I actually have another sweater quantity of a pink, but I'm finishing this one. It is 100% wool, not superwash, just wool, but you can feel the lanolin when you're stitching. And this 52 weeks of easy knits. So, you know, Ravelry is great, and I love Ravelry, and that's where my first 2 sweaters patterns have come from. But I got this book, because it's beautiful, and it's got everything under the sun. Beanies and scarves and sweaters and cows and oh my. But I'm a new so easy knits is what got me, and it's beautiful. Lots and lots of pictures. So I'm doing the sweater in there, and it's called, I don't know what it's called. It's a surprise. It's on page 46. Let's look, shall we? Like I said, I made a working copy so that I wasn't carrying around this 200-page book with me as I was knitting. So yes, that's what it is. It is that, and there's what it's called, Suppressi. So that's what it's gonna look like. Just an easy, simple. My first 2 sweaters have all just been one color, variegated yarn, but one color. So I was like, okay. Look at me, I'm going to venture into the world of stripes. It's going to be great. So I got 2 stripes. Purple, if you know, is one of my also really love it colors. So like I said, I'm almost like, look at all these notes and stuff. I'm almost to the splitting for the sleeves, which is fantastic. I'm knitting this. I showed you the yarn. I'm knitting this with my Chigu Forte interchangeables. Which I love. I love these. It was an investment, but they're perfect for sweaters. I have my Amazon shop linked down below. If anything, if you ever want to know, so most of the stuff is in there. just for your reference. I'm knitting this on a US size 9. So it's knitting quicker because of my gauge, and my stitcher knitters now know what I'm talking about. So that's exciting. So that is the progress. I just wanted to show you. Next time I show it to you, I will for sure have separated for the sleeves, which means since it's a top down, it's kind of, oh, I got a sweater on. Yay. This is not the same, but that's okay. So right now I'm knitting to here, and then I'm going to separate for the sleeves. And so then I can knit the body and sleeves at the same time. I think I'm going to try something different. Usually the last time I've done the 2 sweaters, I just do the body first. And then I find myself on Sleeve Island, totally frustrated, like, is it ever going to end? But I think what I'm going to do is alternate between body stitching and sleeve stitching, because I'm using the sleeves are going to use the same 9, a US 9, but it's going to be a 16-inch circular, kind of like what we're using for the beanie. So that's what's going to be on the sleeve. So I'm not using the same needle, so I can use this one on that and that and that. And it's going to be great. I'm super excited. I know, overwhelming. But anyway, I wanted to show you that is the sweater work, and that's super fun. This doesn't have well, maybe a little bit, couple rows. I'm still working on this. I do need to finish this before week 3, because we're going to use that, or we'll see whether I'm going to use this for my crown decreases or how I'm going to use it. But this is basically the Tiger Lily and Beanie-A-Long version. It's just the beanie I knit all the time, right? So that one's on the needles, ready to go. And that's in this zipper pouch. And so it fits, but just barely. But this is my favorite knitting bag. Now, I sewed this myself, obviously. It's an OG, it's a pattern I came up with. Spoiler alert, we may talk about it later. But I use, first of all, I love this twill ribbon. Look, Alicia, look, it's got flamingos on it. Be bold, be colorful. This is some twill ribbon tape that I had gotten. It's just super fun. So I use that as my drawstrings. And then I love a good handle. And then of course, it's a tulip pink crumb. So this has so many techniques on it, I can't even. And then it's a gusseted bottom with they call it vegan leather. Really, it's just faux leather, plastic leather. But that's okay, way cheaper. Got it, and then it's sturdy and doable and scrubbable. So I like to use those for the bottom of my bags, because sometimes, I'll take my knitting bag to a game or something, and outdoor situation, not that I'm playing, that I'm watching, and that, you set it on the ground and you just want it to be clean. Obviously you can clean fabric, right? But if it's vegan leather, plastic leather, you can just wipe it off with a damp rag and it's good to go. So that's why I love to use, I'm pretty consistent. I like to use faux leather on the bottom of my bags, so that way they're easily to clean, because that's the part that could potentially get dirty. Anywhoozy, let's dig into the bag. And then my crumb, I keep every minute scrap of Tula. Anywho, so this week on the Beanie-A-Long, oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to pause right here before I show you, and I'm going to cut away and show you some fabulousness. Weren't those all so fabulous? Okay, so like I said, backtrack. This is week 1 of the Tiger Lily Beanie-A-Long. There's 3 pages. I can only grab 2. There's 3 pages. It's a 4-week Beanie-A-Long. I'm teaching, learning, we're stitching, we're knitting together. Totally beginner. You don't have to know boo about knitting, because we're going to just beginner, do all the situations. It's so fun, so fun. So many of my friends, if you emailed me your swatch, if you tagged me on Instagram with your swatch, if you DM'd me your swatch on Instagram. So please, next week, keep sending me the stuff. I'm going to share because it's so fun. First of all, yummy yarn, yummy enabling. the ages run the gamut from like young to old, everybody, all different skill levels, all different people, all different. I've never tried it versus I've knitted, but I've only done scarves. So many people are coming up for the challenge and I'm so excited. It's so much fun. We're going to talk about the live. It was a little bit of a hot mess, but that's okay. So hopefully week 1, there were 2 videos. The 2 videos were the cast on. You learned how to cast on, which is taking yarn and putting it on the needles, right? To start your project, starting your project. And then we did a swatch. I wanted to show you that first. So this was the swatch that I knit in the swatch tutorial. So we use this, and yes, I did not cut. I could cut. If I cut, it would be fine. I just then could never unravel it if I wanted to use the yarn again. And sometimes I'm kind of goofy like that. So that is my swatch. And so we talk about swatch. Now next week is, the videos always come out on Monday. So it's a 4-week Beanie-A-Long. Week 1, we were learning the fundamentals of casting on. We were learning the knit stitch, and we used that knit stitch to prepare a gauge swatch. We are going to use the gauge swatch to measure our particular gauge so that we can make our custom one-of-a-kind beanie based on your gauge and your hat measurements, or your head measurements, your head measurements of the person who's getting your beanie, and it's going to be magical. So week 2, spoiler, week 2, we're going to talk about math. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be easy. I'm going to step-by-step it with you on how we come up with your custom pattern based on cast on and stitches and your gauge swatch stitch, all the things. So there's a math one. And then we're going to dive right into the ribbing. So you can see right here, this is the bottom of the hat. This is, did I bring the hat? Yes, I did. Okay. So this is what we're making right here. We're going to make the ribbing. My favorite is a fold over brim. Because it gives you the warmth right here on your ears, which I feel like that's the part that gets coldest. I'm in Mount Vernon, Virginia, so we get a little, not as cold as we used to, I feel like, but so that way you have just a little extra on your ears. But you could also do that. Anyway, we're going to talk about it. The ribbing is a 2x2 rib. So the 2x2 means it's 2 knits and 2 purls. Anyway, we're going to talk about it in the video in case that's what you want to do. But that's week 2. We're going to cast on the number of stitches we need to start. We're going to learn I don't know if it's a secret trick, but it took me 72 different YouTube University videos to figure this out. Knitting in the round trick to kind of join in the round and not have a gap. I'm pretty excited about it. At least I love it now. It took me, like I said, a while to find it. That's the whole thing. Reason I'm doing this is I want to share with you. YouTube University is fantastic. Super fan of YouTube University and learning all the things. There are so many great people out there teaching so many great things. Sometimes though, there's too much information. Let's just be honest. And if you type in one thing, you're going to get 2,722 videos, and it can be overwhelming. But this way, hopefully, if you've been around me for a while, you might like the way I teach, or at least the way I show you how to do what I've done. And this way you get to skip the steps of having to watch 2,722 videos, and you can just watch mine, and then you'll get this. Maybe, hopefully, that's the goal. Anyway, so week 2, get excited. We're going to work on the ribbon. So it's a little bit more of a time commitment, much more time commitment than this, but it's going to go super fast. It's going to be super great as we do. So that's what's coming up next week on the Beanie-A-Long. Like I said, it's a 4-week situation. And so week 2 and week 3 are pretty heavy. Week 4 is going to be the closing it up. It's the crown decrease. Don't worry. And we're going to use our DPNs. It was so funny. Somebody was like, I had to go Google what DPNs means. Yes, I did too back in the day. Double pointed needles, DPNs. That's what we're using to do our crown decreases and close it up. So I hope you're having fun. Again, tag me. Use the hashtag right here. If you are playing on Instagram, I want to see all the things. I'm sharing it. I have a highlight, I have a highlight bubble on my Instagram, and I'm trying to share all the things for all the Beanie-A-Longs because it's just so much fun in the candy. Eye candy galore. So yeah, I might have already shot. Thank you. See, we enable each other on all the things, on all the accounts. Seeing all the things and some yummy squishy yarn, that I've never heard of. Sarah, paper cranes, thanks. Had to go order some. So, you know, it's super fun. Super, super fun. So I hope everybody is having fun. Oh, one thing I wanted to tell you, if you don't know, so that all of this is happening. The Beanie-A-Long PDF is a free PDF. This make-along is totally free, but to access the PDF that you'll need for math is you have to join the Patreon. Now the Patreon part that you have to join is free, so don't fret. But it's just you have to be a free member on Patreon to be able to access that PDF. Now we're going to talk about it later as the month, couple weeks, as the year evolves. My Patreon is going to grow and change and do things, and I'm super excited. So many, hopefully fabulous things are coming. But I wanted to just kind of like work out the kinks, kind of learn it together. And I thought the Beanie-A-Long was a perfect way to do that. Prime example number one, kink number one, if you were on the actual live. So what I've done is, like I said, I'm putting up videos on Monday for the actual instruction for the week, meaning, okay, week 2, this is what we're doing. And then a couple days later on Wednesday, so we did it last week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. I'm going to do another poll on Patreon this week, so make sure you go vote. And we'll pick another time. Maybe we want to do it a little later, so maybe a couple people more people can join. I know it's hard for A, the West Coast, and B, for people that have, those pesky day jobs. But unfortunately, if once the sun goes down, it gets a little hard lighting-wise here in my studio. Anyway, so we're going to do another live next week. TBD, check the Patreon. It will tell you when the options are, and I will announce when the actual live is going to go. I will also announce on there when the live is. Now, last week, I put the live on YouTube. If you were on the actual live, like with me at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, or if you watch the replay, you can tell from my face. The video got spammed, bombarded, I don't know, trolls, bots, I don't know who came, but it wasn't just us, is the moral of the story. I was just looking to have a nice hour-long, little chitty-chatty with my stitchy friends turned knitting friends. It was going to be great, but then somehow the comments got flooded with a whole bunch of things that thank goodness, when the video goes to live, or goes from live to a pre-recorded watch live, the comments disappear. So you can't see it anymore. But if you were actually on the live, or you can see in my face, or I actually spoke to it, I do believe, on the live, they were just, it was super uncomfortable, odd. I didn't like it. Let's just be honest. So I immediately have now figured out, it's like, okay, that's not how we're doing week 2. I don't know what I did, because I watch many of my friends that do lives, and they don't have these things. Like, why did you come bother us? I don't know. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, we got to find a workaround for that, because I was distracted. I want to just answer questions and work together with my knitting friends, not these other friends who are not friends. So the great news is that I have found a workaround, and it's going to be via Patreon, but it's still a YouTube video. I will explain it on Patreon. So the moral of the story is, if you are definitely joining the knitting along, you need to make sure to check the Patreon app, every once in a while. It would to vote on the poll, see what's going on. Also, you do want to just check it for funsies, because just yesterday, I'm having fun. I shared a little sneak peek of what I was doing. It was like Tabletop Thursday. That doesn't really have the roll off your tongue as I'm looking for. I need a suggestion. Tabletop Thursday. Not it. But what's on the table? It was vintage stitching. I know I talked about I'm not doing vintage stitching keepers right now, because I had to, focus, pick a lane, and stay in it for a while. But then sometimes creatively you're like, I want to play. So what I did is, on Thursday morning, I went and I pulled out my 3 buckets. Yes, I have 3 buckets, tubs. Yeah. Of vintage stitching. It's fun to collect. And I found some beautiful pieces that need to now live a new life as either a project bag. A lot of them are going to be project bags. For example, like this one. You see this beautiful butterfly? Yeah, I know it's not for sale. It's for me. But it was one of those things where the stitching and the motif was just too, and it's got a crochet edge too. The stitching was too gorgeous for me to chop it, cut it, trim it so that it would fit on a keeper. So it didn't fit on a keeper based on the keeper measurements. And so I was like, one of a kind project bag. And so I probably have like 10, 12, 15 things in the works. And so that was fun. I shared some of the vintage stitching on Patreon. Was the moral of the story. Yes, I wanted to show you just fun sneak peeks behind the scenes. It's going to be fun, hopefully. That's what I've got. So the Beanie-A-Long is coming next week. Lots of fun. There we go. All right, just a few more things and then we're going to wrap up for the week. So maybe not too much. I don't know. Who knows? I went to the mailbox this week and I found a fantastic Stitchy Friends are the best. So I've mentioned Sarah W, Handmade by Sarah W. She's got a channel here on YouTube. We've been doing stitch-alongs. We're just Stitchy friends. One day we're going to meet in real life, Sarah. That's all there is to that. She's in Alabama. I think Clemson is where we're going to meet. We don't know. We're going to do it. But she knit me up. She knit me. She is knitting though. Yay. But she stitched me this beautiful K. Look at that swirly, swirly, whirly K. She made it into this gorgeous scissor file. I, of course, had to put it on my favorite Kahanas, and it's now sitting with my Stitchy everyday stuff. But look at that beautiful K. And, of course, she did it in Tiger Lily Pink. It is, like, gorgeously hot pink fabulousness. I love it so much. Thank you, Sarah. So that was my sweet little birthday haul that came this week. I did want to say thank you to two of my friends, Peppa and Carol, that utilized my Buy Me a Coffee link down below, kind of just wishing me a happy birthday and all the things. So that was very sweet, you guys. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, I'm looking on the table. What do I got? Okay, I have my quilt. You want to see? Let's see. How am I going to back up? Okay. So this quilt, I love a good Sawtooth Star. That's all there is to it. I love a good Sawtooth Star. And of course I love fabric. So this is my lap quilt Sawtooth Star with a little spacer. And it's just gorgeous. So these are, I believe, 10-inch blocks. It's just a great situation. I don't even remember. I should have paid attention. Whether this is a 5 or a 6. And it's great for focal point fabrics. Now, of course, that's not a focal point fabric, but some of them are. So you can tell. So this is just the quilt top right now. It measures, I did make it so it's 4 stars by 6 stars. A lap size, it measures about 48 by 70-ish. I made it that way because I'm tall. I hear that when you meet me in person, that's the first thing people say is, oh my gosh, you're so tall. I am tall. I'm 5'9", and I wear really cushiony big shoes. So sometimes I might be 5'10", if I'm wearing my Hokas. So it's one of those things where I'm tall and so I like to have long, it's like an extra long lap blanket. So, and Patchwork uses it too. So, I gotta have long ones. So like focal. So this is beautiful. I did bring over, I used the Art Gallery Fat Quarter Bundle called Dusk Fusion. It's a beautiful, it was just 10 fat quarters. That's all you needed for this. It was definitely fat quarter friendly. I did have to, now I'm going to have to use something different for the, that doesn't give you your binding or the background fabric, but it's super, super fun. So I love a good Sawtooth Star. Do you like Sawtooth Stars? Have you ever sewn a Sawtooth Star? It's one of my favorites. And so while we're talking about quilting, so I do have to pick the back and quilt it. My long arm machine. I don't have I'm the driver of the armor, is at my mom's house. So that's like a whole planned thing. So it's not going to be a quilt quite yet, But anywho, that's the quilt top. And then I also, this week, I shared it on stories yesterday. I couldn't resist. Have you seen the new Tula Pink Jubilee fabric? It is so fantastic. So I did get a couple bundles of this. So it might be making something fun with this. Oh, I just love it. It's just bright and it's primary color. I mean, there's no hot pink. Oh my gosh, look, there's like an elephant. Okay, so funny story. Noah's like 3 years old in the stroller. We go to the National Zoo here in DC. He calls elephant Eins. It's so funny. And then there's Pretty Mustard. There is a pink. I mean, it's quintessential Tilda. So love it so much. So that came, and that's what I've got. Oh my goodness, did I go through everything? I did. Okay, friends, so that is my quilt up, my knitting, my stitching, my finishing, my all the things. So stay tuned, buckle in. 2024 is gonna be awesome. And that's what I've got for you. So I gotta switch gears and start recording Monday's videos. Those take some time, friends. So until next time, happy knitting, happy quilting, happy making, happy all the things. I will see you for sure on Monday. Check Patreon to see when we're gonna go live next week. And then I'll be back for Flosstube Friday. It is busy. All the things. So until next time, friends, happy stitching.